Hi, this is Charles Kelly, Money Tips. Welcome to Money Tips and Happy New Year to you, wherever you are or whenever you listen to this. It might be weeks away, but I'll say Happy New Year because it's that time of year at the moment as I'm recording this. So this is Christmas. What have we done? Another year over, a new one just begun. Those are the words of John Lennon, of course, in the song Merry Merry Christmas. And yeah, it's about this time of year we start thinking about our goals, our resolutions for the coming year. What are we going to do? What have we done in the last year? By the time you read this, maybe you've started your goals already. You've started on it. Maybe you've already given up on it. Maybe you started on, in the first week and you stopped it. Who knows? I don't know. I hope you don't do that. And if you are thinking about giving up, then listen to me first and don't give up. Keep at it. If that's the case, just listen to this podcast. Don't give up, and I'll give you a few tips as we go along. Now, we've just passed a decade, right? And it seems like, to me, it just seems like it's flown by. Of course, we know that as we get older, and I'm getting older, time seems to move faster than when you're young, right? A day, a year, a week just seems to fly by much quicker and quicker. Well, part of that, I think, is because, when you're young, a year is a big portion of your life. It could be a whole year of your life. That could be the only year in your life. When you're 5, a year is 20% of your life. But when you're 20, a year is 5% of your life. So, that's part of it. And there is something in the brain that there is a natural reason why time seems to move faster. They've done tests on this. And, it's partly due to that. But look at it. We know that in the next year, it's going to move by very quickly. However old you are, next year is going to fly by just like that, right? And, you've got to use your time wisely for the coming year. Give yourself your goals, but give yourself enough time to achieve those goals, yeah? Give yourself a reasonable time to reach those goals and create steps towards them. For instance, if you wanted to lose weight, let's say you say, I want to lose 10 kilos. Now, I don't think you'd want to try and lose that all in the first month, right? You'd probably want to set up, like maybe I'm going to lose 2 kilos a month or 1 kilo a month. And then you'd put steps towards that. What would the steps be? Could be more exercise, cutting down on fatty foods, better diet, maybe cutting down on a few glasses of wine every night, and so on. You'd find a way of making those steps. And perhaps you'd write those down and put it on a chart and say, look, this is where I am now, this is where I want to be. And that would be your steps towards the goal, right? My point is that you've got to give yourself a reasonable amount of time and break it down into steps and write it down. If you write something down like that, you've got far more chance of achieving it. Now, we've all heard of the story of the hare and the tortoise. It's an old Aesop fable. This is where they're in a race, right? And the hare says, I'm going to beat you. And he runs off like this. But eventually the tortoise is just plodding along and the hare's relaxing. He's thinking, this is too easy and I'm just going to sit back now. And of course, we know the ending to it, that the tortoise wins the race, right? And this is an analogy of what can happen when you have very talented people that seem like they're going to really succeed in life but don't, because they give up along the way or they don't stick with it. And yet the tortoises and the plodders, I've often seen it in my career, that they seem to win through with their persistence and longevity and just by keep going, really. And that's what achieving goals is all about. So the coming year and the coming decade will fly by very, very quickly. So make sure you use your time. Don't waste your time on frivolous things. What are frivolous things? Well, I guess watching too much TV. You know what your frivolous things are. Maybe watching too much TV, maybe spending too much time watching cute videos on social media. I mean, you can use social media to learn things. You can use social media to promote your business. But obviously, if you just spend time watching videos, you could while away hours and achieve nothing. So you know what your things are. And remember that when you're setting the goal, think long term. I mean, people really sort of overestimate what they can do in a year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. In a decade, you can do a lot, and that decade is going to pass anyway. The time's going to pass anyway, so why not use it effectively? If you need to learn a new skill, learn a new skill. I mean, in a decade, you could become a doctor, you could become a lawyer. There's so many things you could do in a decade. Maybe you can't do all those things in a year, but you could do a lot in 5 years, in 10 years. And finally, I would say, just remember to enjoy the journey. Whatever you're doing, enjoy the journey. I've often been guilty of this myself. I've had a business and, your nose is to the grindstone. You're out there trying to make money, but, you often don't enjoy the journey and you're just stressed all the time. I mean, take the example of going for a walk or a run. Now, you could either just walk and head down and just get to your destination, or run and think, well, I've got to get there fast and that's it. Or you could take your time, you could enjoy the journey, you could appreciate the trees, you could appreciate the birds, you could appreciate the weather, the sun, if there is any sun on your head. You could just look at the nice buildings, you could just appreciate a few things along the way, maybe smile at somebody. So there's a different way. At the end of the day, it's the same destination, but a different journey. So one of my goals this year is to enjoy the journey more, to enjoy some of the simple pleasures, and achieve financial goals as well. And we've talked about that the other day. If you've got one financial goal this year, maybe it could be just getting your finances in order and managing your money better. But still, enjoy the journey as you go along. And just, we're here for a good time, not just a long time, as they say. So do try and enjoy yourself along the way. And yes, set goals. Yes, use your time effectively, but also enjoy the journey. So Happy New Year again to you all, and thanks for listening to my podcast throughout the year, and thanks for tuning in on Facebook Live. I've got a few people at them, Maria, Ron, Magnolia, thanks very much. Dave often tunes in as well, so thanks for that, for all of you, and for your support and your comments. I love to see those comments, and have a great year ahead, and have a great decade. It will fly by, so make sure you use it wisely and don't waste that time. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the journey. Bye for now.